He fell asleep in New Jersey before the bombs hit the ground. Broadcasting from a bomb shelter, he is the nuclear clown.
You know, when I was young, I had a speech impediment. And you know how many movies they made about me? 6. But they all went straight to DVD. But that's not why we're here today. We're here to talk about The King's Speech, which won a whole crapload of awards and is one of those English artsy-tartsy movies. I saw The King's Speech, and The King's Speech was a good movie. That's it. See you later. No, my job is to review this, so hang in there. Stay with me just a little bit longer. The King's Speech was a good film, and I'm going to talk about some things about The King's Speech that I kind of didn't really... not that I didn't like them, but just stuff that I thought was a little bit weird about it. Very good movie. A very good movie. The best movie I've seen this year? I don't know, maybe. Really nothing too great has come out so far in 2011. And I haven't really gone to the movies that much because nothing's really captured my interest. Not a lot of boobs in 2011. So yeah, The King's Speech is about a Prince of England, and he has a stuttering problem. Perhaps he was born in Dudleyville, Sussex. Don't know. But he calls upon an unorthodox speech therapist, Lionel Logue. And this is all based on real people, which means it's very, very boring and there's not a lot of aliens in it. But it is a good movie, and it's kind of like a budding friendship between the prince and this common speech therapist and his unorthodox Mr. Miyagi type ways of handling the prince's speech impediment. And because the prince's speech wouldn't really get too much attention, the prince becomes a king later on, hence The King's Speech. Now, again, very good movie. I don't want to make it, because I'm going to talk... the way I tend to talk about movies is, even if I like something, I will talk about the parts that I didn't really like, or stuff that I thought, in my opinion, would make the movie a little better. Doesn't mean I don't like the movie. There's just some things I kind of go, bless, on. For starters, everyone's raving about Colin Firth's performance in this, and Colin Firth plays the Prince Albert, and Geoffrey Rush plays Lionel Logue, his therapist. Now, personally, I thought that Geoffrey Rush, his performance and his character were way nicer, better, and better acted and better written, I guess, than the prince, who I thought came across as kind of a royal douche. Really, and Helena Bonham Carter was in it, and I thought she was better than Colin Firth. I thought she was it's so rare that I get to use this term, but Helena Bonham Carter in this movie, who plays his wife, is delightful. You know, it's a very, I don't want to say serious, but, you know, a lot of talky parts. It's based on true events, and she just brings a nice kind of breath of life into the movie, and she did a very, very good job in it. And Geoffrey Rush, I thought, was awesome as Dr. Lionel Logue. But the one person, and I won't even say I have a problem with the performance, but I'm kind of puzzled as to why everybody is so up in Colin Firth's business about his role in the movie. And I don't think it's because he's a poor actor or anything, but I'm just talking about the part of the king, the way it was written, the way he came off, and the way the movie tries to present him. For example, towards the end of the movie, the speech therapist says to the king, he says, "You're the bravest man I've ever known. Go make your speech, motherfucker." And I kind of sat there and was like, what? I don't know, that they present the prince as this kind of dramatic figure, and like he's overcoming the odds like this kind of Forrest Gumpish, Rain Man-ish, well, not Rain Man, because he really didn't overcome his toothpick pancake thing. But what I'm saying is, they make it kind of seem like he's this brave figure, and my God, he's so compelling, and he's got this aura of leadership and majesty about him. And I really didn't see that at all in the performance. And I don't quite know how they could have pulled it off, being that the main character, who's supposed to inspire these kind of feelings, is a stutterer. While I'm on the subject of stuttering, if you were to ask me, Dave, act like a stutterer, since I don't know how to act because I'm stupid, I would be like, what? Okay. Stuttering? That's bad, right? And I felt that at times, Colin Firth's kind of stuttering sounded goofy to the point of like, I can't take this guy seriously because of how ridiculous he sounds. And I know that is a real dumb thing to say, but, and I know it's a really, really hard thing to come across, because if you have this character that was kind of a polarizing figure, but he has this speech defect, it's hard to convey that during film. You need a very, very special kind of actor with very special muscles and things like that. And I don't know if Colin Firth really did that for me. I didn't really look at him and say, wow, you know, he looks like he's got his shit together. I look at him and I say, he looks kind of like Nathan Lane a little bit, and he sounds really fun. He sounds like me being told to stutter. Now, I know it's based on real events. No, I have not watched the History Channel to see how this guy actually sounded. Maybe he sounds exactly, maybe he pulled it off exactly like the guy stuttered for real. But what I'm saying is, for them to say, you know, oh, you're the bravest man I've ever known, and really building him up like this very, very, very inspiring character, I wasn't really buying it. I was more intrigued by the therapist, even more intrigued by the king's wife. And again, I'm not saying Colin Firth was bad or horrible in this movie. Not at all. He did a fine job. But I'm saying the way he kind of came across, at times when he has his outbursts of his temper, and he's very short and snippy with the doctor trying to treat him, and he came across a little bit too dickish, I think, at times, or maybe they didn't show enough of kind of his courage or whatnot. I mean, really, is that, oh, you went to speech? I went to speech class. Nobody says, Dave, you're the bravest 5-year-old boy I've ever seen in my life. Speech class. No! Jesus. There was a part in this movie that was really, really charming and very, very funny. And it was when the speech therapist, who is a normal, I guess, middle-class Australian guy, and, you know, his family and his wife and stuff, his family doesn't know that he's treating the prince/king of England. And there's a really funny part where his wife kind of comes home unannounced, and he has to kind of explain what's going on. And, you know, he was like, oh, don't go out there. You can't, you know, my wife, I don't know how to explain this to her. I didn't tell her that I'm seeing you. And I don't know, it was really, really well done, and it was really funny, and it gave me a laugh. And I thought, as I'm sitting there, I went, this would be a very good time to end this film. And they didn't. You know, it would have been a nice kind of end on a high, happy note, because the movie's not too... what's the word? It's not too filled with life, I guess. There's a lot of dialogue, there's a lot of royal politics and stuff like that, and I think to end it on a really kind of happy, funny note would have been neat. But no, they heard my idea and they went, no, and they ended it really just on a downer. As soon as that scene is over and the movie keeps going, I was like, oh, we're not done yet? And then it goes into, like, World War II, and he's got to give this big speech because billions of people are going to die. And I was like, oh, I'm sad. Nobody died in my speech class. Too much. So then, you know, World War II kicks off and all this real serious, hardcore stuff. And he's got to give a speech, and the guy's there and all that stuff. And I mean, I thought it was kind of gonna end on him maybe becoming king, but no, it kind of keeps pushing on. And I believe, if memory serves, the movie was about 2 hours long, and not that it felt long, not that, you know, oh, this movie just keeps going on, because it didn't feel long. But I was kind of like, wow, you know, I don't know, they could have probably ended it a little bit sooner, and it would have been a nice kind of end on a happy note. But no, they kept going with it, and the king does his rousing speech, and that's the big climax, and then everybody goes home. And you think, well, Dave, of course they're not going to end on the happy note. They have to end with the big dramatic speech and him not fucking up. But that's kind of what I was expecting the whole... Like, I sat there and I was like, okay, the king's speech, let's see. I know what it's about. He's got a speech problem. He's a stutterer. He goes see a speech therapist, Mr. Miyagi type shit. At the end, he fights Johnny, sweep the leg, all that nice stuff. I seen this, right? I know where this is going. But I thought, I don't know, how really... Like, if the big test at the end and the big climax at the end is him going up there and giving a speech without stuttering, I can do that. So I was like, well, I don't know, maybe I'll be wrong. And no, you know, he gave a speech and that was it. And I don't know, it just was kind of strange to me. That was like the big thing, his big war speech. And I don't know, for me, it was kind of like, oh, I'm kind of bummed now. I'm kind of sad. The movie was kind of going, you know, a cool kind of story about a noble and a commoner, and they kind of meet at this common ground, and they become friends. And it was a very nice story. And then it just got all Nazi-ish and all, you know, war and boom, kaboom. And then the prince has a fire axe, and he's like, get your hands off her. And they start fighting on a rooftop, and it's raining. And a lot of this isn't in the movie. So don't expect it. But one thing I did love, I mean, I absolutely loved about the film, and I wasn't expecting it, was about, I'd say maybe halfway through. Spoiler alert. I should have said that a while ago. Forget anything I told you that spoiled stuff. But, about, I think, halfway through the movie, when the prince's father dies, his older brother takes the throne and proceeds to hawk everything up because he has a penis. And he starts doing it with this Scottish lass, I guess you could call her. And she's a commoner, and she's been divorced 9 times, and she's killed 7 kings or something like that. So naturally, it's like a big deal, and all the other people involved, the whole family's like, can't you just nail this girl in private like all politicians do? You know, do you have to broadcast it to the world? And he says, no, my penis is right, and I like commoners. So he ends up abdicating the throne, and his younger brother, who is Colin Firth, the other prince, because there's 2, the other brother ascends to the throne. But I really liked how kind of they get the ball rolling on the whole speech thing in their relationship, and then after the king dies and the eldest brother is appointed king, it kind of goes into this sort of political plot, which really surprised me, and pleasantly so. It wasn't like, you know, it wasn't like, oh man, this was a comedy and now they're going all serious, or you know, sometimes movies will try that, where halfway through it'll totally change tracks and just kind of stun you and be stupid. But this, I thought, was done really well, where the story just kind of morphs into something else, and the focus kind of shifts onto this, which, you know, ends up with the main character on the throne, and hence the whole king thing of the speech. Hence the kingliness of the speechiness, as they say in England. But yeah, I really liked that. That was very impressive. It threw me for a loop, and in a good way, where I wasn't expecting it. And I actually was way more interested when they kind of did that and showed his brother kind of messing things up and really not tending to the business of state. I thought that was very interesting, and a cool kind of shifting of gear. Well, not a shifting of gears. They stopped the car, blew it up, got into another car, and now they're driving in a completely different car, and they probably don't have insurance on that car. Different car. So yeah, I really did like that. I thought that was exceptionally well done. The performances were all good. But again, Colin Firth, I thought, out of Helena Bonham Carter and Jeffrey Rush, I thought that he was my third favorite. I don't know. He's winning all kinds of awards. So what do I know? I know how to speak without stuttering. Ah, gotcha. I gotcha. Also, what I noticed a lot, well, in the beginning of the film, which was kind of grossing me out a little bit, a lot of close-ups of very, very average-looking people. A lot of... And I'm really glad they stopped that. Not as glad as you are that I just stopped doing that thing, but, you know. At first, it was a little disturbing, all those close-ups of those Englishmen and their teeth. And when I walked into the King's Speech, a little on a side note, I walked in and I sat down, and they were playing what I thought was a preview, and it was a bunch of people throwing each other around with mind powers and talking about some shit I didn't know what was going on. And I sat there and I was like, this is a long, long preview. And then after about 5 minutes, I thought, I think I'm in the wrong place. So I got up and I left, and sure enough, I was in the movie theater watching I Am Number 4, which I will review the 5 minutes I saw. So, you know, I left and then I went into the right theater, and I was just in time to watch all 78 previews before the King's Speech. And all the previews, since it's, you know, a British movie, all the previews were of very stodgy, talky, based on booky type movies. And man, there was a lot of previews. There was noticeably 1,000,003 previews before I got to watch the King's Speech. But you know what? It was worth it. Because the King's Speech is a good movie. So you probably heard a lot of hype about it, and it's well deserved. Good movie. I liked it a lot. I thought it was very good. It kind of bums me out that it goes into the whole war thing. Nobody likes war. Man of peace here, you know. Jeffrey Rush, excellent. Helena Bonham Carter, excellent. And Colin Firth, he's good, you know. He's good, but for the kind of character I think they wanted, I don't know if he really had that kind of draw. Because if you can't talk, you have to have that presence. And I don't mean my kind of presence where you want to run away and scream and then have nightmares for 7 days straight. But a presence like, wow, you know, that guy, there's something about that guy. And then he talks and he's like... I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I don't know. Everybody else seems to like him, so you probably will too. So, the King's Speech, man. Keep talking. King me, bro. And then get in a mic. And you know what? Here, I'll do this. I'll even do the thing for you. Here you go. Check this out. Tits!